The middle portion of it was prior to their final game of the regular season against Green Bay. Now the entire field has been resodded. Footing still can be treacherous. It has been wet.
And in a lot of ways, this is more Seattle Seahawks weather than it is Bear weather.
Kind of a squib kick as they try desperately to keep the ball out of the hands of Devin Hester, and it goes through the end zone instead of out of bounds, and that's a 20-yard difference. You almost have to have Barry Bonds type rules for Devin Hester. Don't let him beat you. Don't give him a fat fastball. He can hit it out of the park. Here's Rex Grossman. How is his day going to start, and how does he balance, Troy, staying aggressive but not doing too much and making that critical mistake?
Well, what he's going to try to do, Joe, is wait and see how the game unfolds. Early on, he doesn't want to try to force anything, any gray area on the throws. He wants to come down to his checkdowns.
Bears start with a run, and it's Thomas Jones who pushes forward for a yard and a half. They've got a very good offensive line here in Chicago, and it's anchored by the first-team All-Pro center, Olin Kreutz. And then you get into the backs and receivers, and a big difference that nobody talks about, Troy, is the emergence of Cedric Benson, who's not listed there, but definitely a 1A type threat as a running back for Chicago.
And a lot of people think that the reason his carries went up in the last part of the season was to rest Thomas Jones. He's earned the right to play and will play a lot today.
Grossman will start 1 for 1 as he hits Bernard Berrien. 5-yard gain. A manageable third down and short coming up. This is not a big defensive line. They lost their biggest body in the middle. Marcus Tubbs went on IR, a 324-pound defensive tackle. So, as Mike Holmgren says, we make up for our lack of size with speed and technique. And there's the banged-up secondary. Kelly Jennings is the rookie, and they're really leaning on him today. 3rd and 3. Handoff. First down. Thomas Jones picked up 5.
Well, already we've seen what Ron Turner, the offensive coordinator, how he wants to approach this ball game early. They come out, they run the ball on first down, make a conservative second down throw, and then on 3rd and 3, give the ball to Jones for the first down.
A little end around. That's Davis, and Rasheed Davis with Kreutz out in front of him and Berrien blocking. Picks up 8.5 yards. You know, we talk about this secondary, and we can't act as though people are aware of what's going on, but this is a secondary for Seattle that has on IR Kelly Herndon and Jimmy Williams. They lost Mike Green, a former Bear, as safety in the preseason. Marcus Trufant is not active with a high right ankle sprain, and so they've been signing guys off the street to play cornerback. It was good enough against Dallas. Will it be good enough against Chicago? 2nd and 1. Jones goes sideways, and well played. He's going to be a yard short of a first down. Leroy Hill out there to make the stop, 3rd and short.
You know, Joe, and I think if you look back on that Seattle win last week against Dallas, Dallas never went after this secondary. They had opportunities. It looked like there was a lot of air out there in the secondary for some big plays, but Dallas just never was able to take advantage of it. Instead, they tended to run the football a little bit more. As you said, this is an undersized group, but I do think that there are some opportunities for big plays if Chicago's willing to take them.
On 3rd and 1, first down again, Thomas Jones. Picked up 7 on 3rd and 1, and this offensive line is moving guys out for Chicago.
This offensive line is a very good group, and they have been all season long. They do a great job of handling the various twists and stunts, and you don't have to give Thomas Jones much of a crease in order for him to get inside of that and pick up some pretty good yardage.
Bears have run 6 plays. This is only the 2nd pass, and it's high and off the left hand of McKee, the fullback. 2nd and 10. Really, you can look at the way the Bears played, and you think of Chicago, you think about their defense, and their defense struggled the last month of the season. And then you saw a shot of Mike Holmgren. He's not all that pleased without his quarterback, Matt Hasselbeck, who has more experience in Grossman, but the way Hasselbeck has played over the last month is coming back off a knee injury. 2nd and 10, and the handoff to Thomas Jones. He gets back to the line of scrimmage, and he's brought down by Leroy Hill. 3rd and 10.
You know, it's rare, Joe, that you go into a playoff game where you have quarterbacks that haven't played particularly well. And you're right. I mean, there's no question Rex Grossman, it's been well documented for the last several weeks that he's not played real consistent. But Matt Hasselbeck hasn't either since he's come off of his injury. I know in talking with Rex Grossman, he said his approach today isn't to try to prove the critics wrong. He just wants to try to find a way to win a playoff game for the Chicago Bears.
3rd down and 10. Over the middle. Davis, what a catch. Rashid Davis took it away from the defense down to the 15. "37 yards on 3rd and 10.
Yeah, great throw there by Rex Grossman, and it's the inside guy going down the middle versus this 2-deep man under. And Jordan Babineau, he was in great position to come down with the ball. You see there, went right through his hands. And a good job by Rashid Davis just continuing to concentrate on that and haul it in. A missed opportunity for Jordan Babineau on the interception.
From the 15, Thomas Jones gets it down to the 13. Leroy Hill on the stop. And here's the up and down year for Rex Grossman. 7 starts with a quarterback rating of 100 or better. That's the 2nd most in the NFL to Mark Bulger of the Rams. However, 5 starts with a quarterback rating of 40 or under, including a rating of 0 in the last regular season game here against Green Bay. He played 3 decent games, hadn't turned it over. Played the Packers through 3 interceptions and only 2 completions. Jones down inside the 10. Bernard on the stop. 3rd down for Chicago.
Well, what a missed opportunity for Seattle. Can you imagine what would happen to this stadium if Jordan Babineau had been able to haul that one in on the interception and kill this drive, or what it might have done to Rex Grossman's confidence. I do know this, in talking with Mike Holmgren, he said it's absolutely imperative that this defense be able to stop the run. They definitely want to put the ball into Rex Grossman's hands here today.
3rd down and 4. They stay with it on the ground, and Jones cruises in for the touchdown.
Well, it's a great drive by the Chicago Bears, being able to take the opening possession and methodically drive it down the field, capped off by the touchdown of Thomas Jones, doing a good job of mixing in the run and the pass, predominantly running on that series. That had to have settled down Rex Grossman.
What a good block by the tight end Desmond Clark. 7-0. Rashid Davis on an end around and one big catch. One huge completion from Grossman. A lot of Thomas, 80 yards, 6.5 minutes off the clock. Thomas Jones banged it in from 9 yards out. And Rashid Davis with an end around and a big catch on 3rd and 10. Helping to set it up. Now Gold kicks it away. Burleson waiting for it at his own 6. Nate gets to the edge, has a block. Good return for Seattle as Burleson is forced out. There are no flags on the field, and the Seahawks will start at their own 47. Good start, Chicago. A missed opportunity for Jordan Babineau. Would have stopped the drive and maybe hurt the confidence of Grossman. Thomas Jones top. Nate Burleson with a 41-yard kick return, starting at their own 47 of the Seahawks. Hasselbeck told us they're going to come out throwing. They start with a throw, and it's behind Jackson. 2nd and 10. The offensive line, they've had a lot of players coming and going. 8 different starting combinations. They've settled on one now, with Spencer in the middle and the rookie Rob Sims at left guard. And then it's been a year, Troy, for Hasselbeck where he doesn't know who's going to line up on the outside for him.
And that's one of the reasons why Matt Hasselbeck's play all season has been relatively inconsistent due to all the changes that are made in that offensive group.
This is Alexander, and Sean Alexander runs into the body of Harris. No gain, 3rd and 10. Chris Harris, who's making the start at strong safety for Todd Johnson. And those two guys are trying to fill in for Mike Brown, who was available to the Bears the first time these two teams played. There's Mike, a big presence, lacking in the secondary for Chicago.
Yeah, and I don't know that they've ever really been able to replace Mike Brown. Of course, you don't replace an all-pro player, but his loss has been a big factor as to why this team struggled down the stretch.
Out of the shotgun, quick throw. Tillman bats it to Jackson. And Jackson is going to be marked out short of first down yardage. Tillman was thinking touchdown. Off his chest into the gut of Darrell Jackson. And it's going to be 4th down.
Yeah, Ricky Manning, he comes off the edge, and so Matt Hasselbeck has to get the ball out quick. Of course, the defensive back, Charles Tillman, knows that, so he's sitting on the route. He undercuts Darrell Jackson, and he missed a great opportunity as well. If he makes that catch, he's running it all the way for 6 points. And now both teams have missed on opportunities for interceptions.
It's rookie on rookie here. Plaquemire punting for Seattle as the Seahawks are a yard short of a first down. He tilts the nose of the football down, and Hester will let it bounce out of bounds. Good punt by Ryan Plaquemire. They're going to mark it out at the 7. That's where the Bears have it as they lead Seattle 7-0. Yard touchdown run. 6 of the 9 plays called by Ron Turner of the Bears were running plays. Now 7 of 10. And Thomas Jones picks up 4, brought down by Hill. And here is that drive. A lot of this guy. And good work up front, Troy, by this offensive line.
Well, I mean, when you're coming into a game like this, and as a quarterback, when you're a little unsettled, the best thing that you can do then as an offense is be able to run the ball effectively. That takes a great deal of the pressure then off the quarterback, and that's exactly what the Bears were able to do there in that first drive.
Talking to John Marshall, the defensive coordinator for Seattle. As Grossman hands off to Thomas Jones, who drags Peterson for another yard, a gain of 4. John Marshall said, we've got to come after Grossman. We've got to blitz him. We've got to come up the middle. We have to get somebody in his face to bother him every time he drops back.
Yeah, he made it very clear that he knows exactly what he's dealing with Rex Grossman and the struggles that he has had. And so what he wants to do is shut down the run. They've not been able to do that real well yet. Get pressure on Grossman inside and force him to throw the ball.
Throwing on 3rd and 2, and the pass caught for a first down. That's Muhammad. Bears have been perfect on 3rd down so far today. 8 yards to Muhammad, his first catch.
Yeah, Rex Grossman, you can tell right now he's throwing the ball with pretty good confidence. He's not sitting in the pocket waiting. He's hitting his back foot. He's getting the ball out. For the most part, those throws have been shorter throws, trying to get him into some type of rhythm, but he has made good decisions so far.
Throw on first down, Varian. Didn't make it to the 30, picked up 6.
They'll keep throwing these types of routes and staying ahead of the chains. And what I mean by that is then now on 2nd down, you're able to either run the ball or you're able to come off of that with some play action. And so with this down in distance, 2nd and 3, it gives Ron Turner, the offensive coordinator, a lot of things to choose from.
Hand off to Thomas Jones, and what a good play. Hill again. We've said his name already 4 or 5 times. Here are the 2 possessions, and Thomas Jones and Leroy Hill are going to be banging into each other all day.
And right now, Joe, on 3rd down, I mean, these downs, and it's true during the regular season, it's even more true when you get into the playoffs. As you can see, the Bears 5 for 5 on 3rd downs in this game already. Last week, Seattle defensively did a great job against Dallas, stopping them on third downs. And by doing that, then you give the ball back to your offense with good position.
Grossman on third down is blitzed and loses the football, but it's an incomplete pass. His arm was going forward. Jordan Babineau, who almost had a pick earlier, comes in off the edge and plasters Rex Grossman.
Yeah, I'm not sure Rex Grossman ever saw him. He's fortunate that the arm was going forward and getting the incomplete ruling. I'm not sure that he was trying to actually throw the ball at the time that the ball came out.
You can see him clutching for it, and that is to the letter of the rule that if the arm's going forward and the ball is controlled, it's considered an incomplete pass. Very nearly a deadly fumble. Burleson on the return, can't make a move and get around Dante Wesley. 42-yard punt, nothing on the return. An early sack of Grossman. Seahawks have it down 7. Blitz coming from the Bears. Seahawks pick it up and the pass complete to Jackson. Not touched until he rolls forward to the 47, 24 yards for Matt Hasselbeck.
You know, Darrell Jackson, he's playing with that toe injury. Nobody's real certain as to how long he'll be able to play today, but he looks good on this route. It's just right up the seam. I'm not so sure he got touched. Well, he does there, but a good job of getting over there and then getting him down. Initially, it did not look like he was touched, but as you said, Joe, the Bears brought pressure. Lance Bridge, the linebacker, came inside, but Matt Hasselbeck read it and delivered a good ball.
Hasselbeck wanted the officials to restart the play clock. They don't. Underneath, it's Will Heller, backup tight end, a yard shy of a first down. Hasselbeck, who has a couple of broken fingers on his left hand, is having a tough time after that little push from in front and behind. He might have landed on that hand.
I think he did, Joe. You could tell even before he went to the ground, he's trying to protect that left hand. It is very sore. We saw it the other day, and he keeps him taped, but no question it hurt him there.
Sean Alexander picks up a first down for Seattle.
You know, Matt Hasselbeck, he's had a variety of injuries this year. Of course, we all know about the knee injury that he suffered that knocked him out of 4 ball games there in the middle of the season. But even before that, I know we had a game of Seattle's earlier in the season. He had some bruised ribs that he was playing with. That was affecting his play. Now he's got this hand. He's trying to fight through it all. He certainly doesn't make any excuses as that being a reason as to why he hasn't played better.
On first down, Alexander slides down. That was the footing that caused that stop, just back to the line of scrimmage. And let's look at the defense for Chicago. This was the #1 defense early in the season. Then they started to taper off. I think this group, Troy, really needed the bye week to rest up. They get Tillman back as you look at the Pro Bowlers at the linebacking position. And with Tillman coming back after back spasms, missing a couple of games, it allows Ricky Manning Jr. to play in the slot, which is where they're best.
Yeah, and we've already seen him coming off the edge and showing how much it helps him being in the slot.
2nd and 10, the pass is out of the reach of Branch. You know, the funny thing for Hasselbeck is he's wearing a glove on his left hand because he's got those fingers taped up. But his head coach, Mike Holmgren, will not let him wear a glove on his throwing hand, and that dates back to Holmgren's early career with Joe Montana with the San Francisco 49ers.
Which is why he's wearing the pouch now. Matt Hasselbeck said they had a cold day in Seattle. He put the glove on, and Holmgren told him to take it off before the practice ever started.
3rd and 10. Pressure. Completion. Jackson again. And so Darrell Jackson, who's got the bad toe, did not make a catch against the Cowboys last week, has been involved. First down, Seattle.
Well, the Bears bring pressure. They bring the corner blitz. Nathan Basher off the edge. Lance Briggs up inside. No question, Lovie Smith sticking to the game plan of having to get pressure on Matt Hasselbeck, but he hung in there, and he's able to get Charles Tillman off of Darrell Jackson and then delivers a pretty good ball for Jackson to come back and make the catch.
On first down, Hasselbeck, end zone, and he overshoots everybody, and they are really coming after Hasselbeck. Meanwhile, Tillman, Troy, is a guy who struggled last year in the playoffs against Steve Smith as he ran through this good Chicago defense for 218 yards.
Yeah, and Charles Tillman had to live with that throughout the entire offseason. And yet he came back this year, and he's played exceptionally well. They worked on his technique. They felt he was guessing too much on the routes, and I really feel that he had a Pro Bowl type season.
Alexander on 2nd and 10. With the game clock under half a minute, the Seahawks, if they don't want to, don't have to run another play before the end of the first quarter. Alexander got 6. And it will be 3rd down and 4. With the second quarter about to begin. That'll do it for one. Bears took the opening kickoff down the field. That man Jones was in from 9 for the touchdown. But now it's Seattle marching, knocking on the door. 7-0 Chicago back after this. Steps up and finds a wide open Burleson, and he is in for the touchdown. Nate Burleson. And a drive that was dominated, Troy, by the pass. Get Seattle down the field and into the end zone.
Yeah, and that's that hole within that two-deep scheme that Chicago likes to run. You're going to see the hole. Nathan Basher lets him go and turns him loose then to the safety. The safety playing deep, but that's the hole that the receiver can get into and find a spot for the ball to be received, and he's able to do it and then turn it up the field for the touchdown.
A 9-play drive, 6 of the plays were passes, and Burleson, who had only 2 touchdowns during the regular season, gets his 2nd career postseason touchdown, and the game is tied. Disappointing regular season for Nate Burleson, who turned into more of a return man than a threat on the outside for Hasselbeck. Makes the catch, launches himself into the end zone, and with this, the Seahawks have tied it. Early second quarter in Chicago. In his career in the postseason, his team has tied it here 7-7. Devin Hester, they kept it away from him the first time. And the Pro Bowler, all pro, shows what he can do, gets an extra hit late, no flag. Crowd wants it, they don't get it, and after all that, it's a 20-yard return for Hester. So now Grossman back to work, and we'll talk about the other side for a second. Seahawks came into this game believing they could throw on this Bears defense, and it looks like, at least here early, they were right.
Yeah, I mean, so much of what they wanted to do earlier in the season was get into some of their 3-wide packages because of the injuries. They've not been able to do that, but now they can today, and they feel good about that. Now, Chicago, they want to be able to get pressure on Hasselbeck with their front 4. So far, they've not been able to do that, and they've had to bring pressure, and because of that, it's opened up some holes.
But now we focus back on Grossman, who has all day and goes deep. Marion down the middle, hit in stride. Touchdown Chicago, no flags. Troy, this guy is under the microscope, no doubt, but that throw, that was a wow throw from Rex Grossman, hitting Berrien for 68 yards, a touchdown. And in one play, the Bears regain the lead.
Well, in order to get a throw off like that, you've got to have pretty good protection up front. I talked a little bit earlier about the job that this offensive line has done. Well, they do it again here, which was vital. Rex Grossman, you see the clean pocket. He's able to step up and make a good throw. And on the outside, Bernard Berrien, who had not been creating a lot of big plays over the last couple of weeks, just runs right by the rookie, Kelly Jennings. There's nobody in the middle of the field to help take away that deep post. You know, and these are the types of plays that you've got to be able to make if you're going to be able to score points. And when you get a shot, you got to complete it, and that's what they just did.
Let's look at it from the other side. You're Seattle, you have to be thinking, well, finally somebody found the holes in our secondary. I think when you talk to the Seahawks, they're stunned that Dallas didn't take more shots down the field last week, and they feel like they got away with the game because Dallas just kept it tight and around the line of scrimmage. Now here's Grossman making a beautiful throw, showing great arm strength, and hitting Berrien in stride for a 68-yard touchdown.
Well, that will create some concern for this defensive staff of the Seattle Seahawks, seeing Rex Grossman deliver a strike for a big play touchdown.
That was the second longest pass in Bears postseason history. Now Burleson trying to give a big one back to Seattle. Good return by Nate Burleson. He has a touchdown and 2 big returns. This one 29 yards, brought down by Wesley. Well, congratulations to the New Orleans Saints and head coach Sean Payton. They will be in the NFC Championship game for the first time in franchise history, only their second playoff win, and they will play the winner of this game. Grossman all smiles. He hopes that it's the Saints at Chicago here next Sunday.
Yeah, and I'd also like to say congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles at 5-6 for them to make it into the playoffs, win the NFC East, win the first round against the Giants. Really a good job by Andy Reid and that entire staff.
Here's Alexander trying to bounce it to the outside, and it was Todd Johnson up to make the stop. A loss of 2. Let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Yeah, Joe, we've been talking about teammates rallying around Rex Grossman in a mixture of relief and excitement. There wasn't a player or assistant who did not walk over to Grossman and give him a bear hug or a pat on the helmet or a pat on the backside. It was exciting for them, and they are, I think, turning that corner on their confidence with this guy once again. Back to you.
Yeah, Pam, and for good reason. I mean, they're going to have to ride this guy and take advantage of being the #1 seed and hope he can get them into the Super Bowl. Urlacher over the middle takes care of Deion Branch, a gain of 5.
And the one thing about it is this coaching staff will tell you that they have a pretty good idea early in games as to how Rex Grossman is going to play. When he has struggled early and struggled throughout games. When he's played well early, and he's played well throughout the games. Right now, obviously, he's playing good football. I've got to believe his staff now will open things up more even as they move through the rest of this ball game, and he's got to be feeling awfully good about himself right now also.
3rd and 7 for Seattle. Pressure from Tank Johnson doesn't get there, and Urlacher knocks it away. That's what separates Urlacher from the rest of them. He can play the run, and he can get back in coverage down the middle of the field.
Well, you're going to see him. He's right here in the middle, and it's at 2 deep. And once he reads pass, then he's going to carry whoever the receiver is that's going down the middle. I mean, shoot, he's running stride for stride there with Darrell Jackson. And if Brian Urlacher had not have gotten a hand on the ball, Chris Harris was going to make the interception.
Blackmeyer to punt. Devin Hester, fair catch. Lunging at the 30. Urlacher huffing and puffing. He's the first-team All-Pro middle linebacker, and now Grossman back to work. 12:59 left in the first half, and Grossman fresh off that 68-yard touchdown throw. Back with his 7-point lead, hands to Cedric Benson. Cedric Benson picks up 11. Hamlin on the stop, and we go back to Brian Urlacher.
Yeah, you watch the cat and mouse game going on between him and Matt Hasselbeck. Matt Hasselbeck signaling outside to his wide receivers, and then Brian Urlacher signaling and getting his own defense set up. And then you see the speed for a big guy. I mean, this 260-pounder can really run. And when you've got a guy in the middle that can run like that, from sideline to sideline and get underneath the deeper throws, you can do a lot of different things within your scheme.
Okay, it's over. Benson again. This time he gets 2. When we talked to Matt Hasselbeck, he almost marveled at how Brian Urlacher will audible at the middle linebacker position. You always hear it about quarterbacks. They get to the line, but he said Urlacher, he'll audible depending on what we do. And he is the guy getting this defense in position to make plays.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting in talking to Urlacher. He says he doesn't study as much film now as what he did earlier in his career, because when he studied film, he said he found that he was guessing too much. Now he just wants to react and be a little more instinctive.
This pass is too far and out of the reach of Mark Bradley. It'll be 3rd down and 8.
So this possession here for Seattle defensively is very important, because even though Chicago defensively has had some problems here as of late being able to stop teams, you don't want to get too far behind against this unit, because they'll start bringing pressure in a lot of different areas, and I don't think that it's a defense that you're going to have much success coming back from if you're down 14 or more points.
Third down and 8. Pressure. The pass is incomplete, and it was to Tupu. Coming on a blitz. Julian Peterson in there as well, and Muhammad was underthrown. Grossman just did not have the time.
Well, Lofa Tatupu, he's normally in the middle, but now he moves over to the outside. And again, Rex Grossman just does not see the blitz coming. And I'm not certain as to whether or not there should have been protection that picked him up, but that's now a couple of times Seattle's brought people and Grossman's not seeing the blitz.
Maynard hits an ugly punt, and it checks up at the 25. It'll roll to the 24, and that's where Matt Hasselbeck and the offense for Seattle will set up. 32-yard punt. Seahawks have it, down 7. Little pump from Hasselbeck, and underneath it's Alexander. Sean Alexander picks up 12. Urlacher on the stop, and let's check in with Chris Myers.
Joe, Sean Alexander's wearing a customized cleat. They're all going, the team is going with a 5/8 inch up from the normal ½ inch, but he has a 3/4 inch, a 3-pronged cleat on the front of his shoe to help him get better grip. So far in this game, though, he's been frustrated by the Bears' defense, not the field.
I wish I knew which was longer, 3/8 or a half or 5/8. Here's Heller, makes the catch, spins forward, picks up 2. You played in the NFL. What's longer, a half or 5/8? Or
5/8 is a little longer there, Joe. Yeah, I'll tell you, those, speaking of Sean Alexander, he's not gotten a lot out of the running game so far in this game, and Seattle last year, when you think about how well he ran the ball a year ago and how much he was a part of this success and them going on to the Super Bowl, and he just has not been healthy. He hasn't been healthy really since the first game of the season against Detroit when he injured that foot, and they really need him.
Here's Maurice Morris. He's dragged down almost immediately, and making the play was Ricky Manning Jr. It just points out, Troy, how short the time on the top of the mountain typically is for these running backs in the NFL. A couple years ago, Priest Holmes was the guy. Last year, Sean Alexander, and now, after the injury-filled season, under 1,000 yards rushing, it's LaDainian Tomlinson, who is easily the top back in the NFL.
Well, he's been awfully special all season long, and Sean Alexander, and as Mike Holmgren said, it's really been somewhat of a wasted year for him.
3rd and 7. A blitz from the Bears. Hasselbeck fires and hits Jackson. The ball is bobbled but caught at midfield. Now they wave it off. By the time Jackson controlled it, he was out of bounds, and one official overruled the other. It's 4th down.
Well, let's see what happened here. A ball that's just a little bit behind, but a ball that Darrell Jackson should have caught. I mean, Seattle, it's not just this year or just not in previous years. Over the last several seasons, these wide receivers have dropped more balls than any team in the National Football League, and that was a big drop because there would have been a 1st down.
3rd punt for Plaquemire. Adrian Peterson almost got in there to block it, and now Hester almost makes a critical mistake. He touched it. It was a live ball. He got back on top of it, and that will cause his head coach Lovie Smith's heart to skip a beat. But Hester got back on top, and the Bears have the ball and the lead. snow flurries earlier in the day. Windy down on that field. It's actually blowing toward the lake. So not one end to the other, but actually across the field. Here's Benson. Benson runs into Hamlin and just keeps pushing him for 9. Here's a guy, Troy, was the number 4 pick in the draft last year, and they like Benson more and more and more. And what another weapon for Rex Grossman.
He's been a nice changeup, for Thomas Jones. And as I was saying earlier, they began splitting the carries between both of those guys about 4 weeks ago. And Cedric Benson has played very, very well. In fact, coming off of his best game as a pro 2 weeks ago against the Green Bay Packers.
2nd down and 1, and Benson picks up the 1st down and just won't go down until he gets to the 30.
And Cedric Benson, when he first came in last year, clearly he was drafted with the idea that he would be the featured guy. But when he got into Chicago, I think people questioned his work habits a little bit. He missed a great deal of training camp his rookie season. Thomas Jones was then very productive. And then even moving into this season, I think a lot of people within the organization questioned how important the game was to him. But I know right now it seems that the light has gone on, and he's played very, very well.
Pass is incomplete. And there was a blitz put on by Seattle. That ball thrown to an open spot, and I think it's the Seahawks wondering why that's not grounding.
I think everybody is right now. You see the officials getting together and talking about it. To me, that most certainly should have been intentional grounding. If you're in the pocket and you're throwing to an area where there's no receiver, there's nobody within 30 yards of where that was thrown.
You could hear Jerry Austin and his mic bleeding over a little. He said Jason McKee, the fullback, was in the area. It was well over McKee's head. But no flag. This one out to the left side for Bradley. And on 2nd down and 10, Bradley is good for 4, brought down immediately by Kelly Jennings.
Now you got Mark Bradley, who he's coming off the field hobbled up himself.
Here's a guy who's had a tough time staying healthy, and now he can't even make it to the sideline. Here's the tackle by Jennings. And watch the ankle. Gets turned, sticks in that new turf, that right ankle. Needing help getting over to the sideline. We'll take a break. This is a little too far for Berrien, who got his head around late. It's 4th down. You look at Bradley as they check his right ankle. Guy who missed 5 games earlier this season with an ankle injury. The former 2nd-round pick out of Oklahoma missed 9 games last year with a torn ACL.
Yeah, in fact, Mark Bradley last year was the starter ahead of Bernard Berrien until he got injured, and he's just never been able to stay healthy enough to challenge again.
Now the 3rd punt from Maynard. Good one. Burleson from the 20. Forced out by Ian Badejo. And we have seen some issues with the footing with this new sod. Whether it's Desmond Clark on the outside blocking, Rasheed Davis down the field with his foot getting caught. And now it's Bradley with Jennings and that right knee banging into the outside of the right ankle of Bradley.
Well, when you go with the 5/8-inch spikes in this soft new sod, it tends to grab pretty good, and that's what we're seeing from some of these players in this first half.
Maurice Morris gets the ball. Alexander on the bench, and Morris crosses the 25, picked up 5. Urlacher on the stop, and let's go down to Chris Myers.
Joe, in terms of the footing, this new sod was put down. The Seahawks came in early on Friday to walk through or practice on this. It was after that they decided to increase the cleat. The Bears voted not to. They didn't want to break their routine. So the first time the Bear players saw this new sod on the field, was today.
All right, Chris, thank you. 2nd down and 5. Quick setup and throw. And on the outside, it's Jackson. Can't make a move to get around Tillman. It'll be third down and a couple. Pickup of 3. This team actually got in on Friday, practiced here yesterday. And as Chris said, this field was covered until, what, Troy, an hour and 20 minutes before game time today?
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of time for these players to get out here in pregame warm-ups and get acclimated to the surface. I went down and checked it out after they did take the tarp off, and I'll tell you that it's in pretty good shape considering that it just went down this past week.
Third down and 2. And the pass behind Jackson incomplete. Couldn't catch it off his hip. Tillman was there defending for Chicago.
Well, another chance there in order to convert on a third down. And right now, you know, Seattle, they came out on their first possession and was moving the ball. But here over the last couple of possessions, this Bears defense has done a good job of stopping them on third down, something that they've actually done a good job of all season.
Devin Hester waiting for the punt. Line drive punt. Hester bobbles it and gets back on top of it. Last 2 chances, the rookie Hester has had to scramble to avoid a turnover. And Rex Grossman back onto the field. Here's his day so far. On a 3rd and 10. A big completion to Rasheed Davis for 37 yards. And then the long one. 68 yards to Bernard Berrien for the touchdown. And as we're approaching halftime, what do you think?
Well, I think that they did a nice job of allowing Rex Grossman to settle in by running the ball early, and the line's done a good job of protecting him.
Thomas Jones picks up 1.
You know, you get into a big game like this, and you know, in talking with Rex Grossman, I mean, think back to last year and that playoff loss to Carolina. Rex did not play particularly well, but he'd only had 6 quarters under his belt when he came into that game, and he said that entering this playoff game he had a much better feel. He knew what to expect coming in and had much more confidence entering this game despite the way that the season ended for him.
Second down and 9 out of the backfield. The fullback McKee to the 45. Ball comes out, but he was down. And it'll be third down for Chicago. Leroy Hill has been busy in this first half there to make the stop.
You know, and I think Seattle defensively, I know they gave up the big touchdown to Bernard Berrien, but really, you know, other than that, they've held in there pretty good. I mean, an undersized group up front, as we've talked about, and then, of course, the problems that they have in the secondary. And I think that's the big key for them is not to give up any more big plays like they did there to Berrien.
A late blitz coming from Seattle. Peterson, the ball is out. And the Seahawks are able to fall on top of it. It was Julian Peterson coming on a blitz. Chuck Darby ends up with the football, and it's the first turnover of the game out of the hand of Grossman and into the arms of the Seahawks.
Yeah, Julian Peterson, I mean, he has such a great knack for blitzing and finding the hole within that offensive line, and Rex saw it coming the entire way, but yet he failed to get the ball out. He tried to do a little bit too much, and Julian Peterson, in the process of sacking him, was able to knock the ball out, something that Rex Grossman has struggled with. That's his 6th lost fumble on the year.
What a big first year as a Seahawk for Peterson. 10 sacks on the season. Here's Alexander picking his way right through the heart of this defense.
And it's always been interesting to me that you get a big turnover like that and how the momentum immediately shifts. And for an offense that had kind of been going through the motions the last couple of possessions, and for a running back in Sean Alexander, who really had found nowhere to run the football, all of a sudden on first down, he picks up a pretty significant gain.
So Grossman turns it over. Seahawks trying to take advantage, down by 7. Hasselbeck with time, corner of the end zone, incomplete. It was Ingram, the intended receiver. And it was Tillman back there for Chicago. 2nd and 10.
you know, the Bears, again, they really miss Tommy Harris inside because they just don't get the same kind of push with these other defensive tackles. You saw the time there that Matt Hasselbeck had to throw the ball, but a late throw to the corner, that was a dangerous throw. You see Charles Tillman underneath Bobby Ingram. I mean, it took a perfect pass to have any kind of shot. A lot of risk on that ball.
2nd and 10. Alexander will make it to the 6. Ricky Manning Jr. on the tackle, a gain of 7, 3rd down for Seattle.
I tell you, Sean Alexander, I noticed it last week, you know, against the Dallas Cowboys and how patient he is running the football. There's not a lot of urgency in hitting the hole, and that's a good thing. You know, he's very patient and waiting for the hole to develop, and then once he sees it, he gets going as fast as he can to get into the hole before it closes.
3rd down and 3. Alexander underneath, spinning, and brought down right at the marker. That extra effort at the end, and it depends on the spot. And Jerry Austin's going to call for the measurement.
You know, Sean Alexander here in a split back set. Seattle's one of the few NFL teams offensively that run split back formations and then even run the ball out of it. Generally, that's a passing formation. But they mix enough of it in to where you're never really sure, are they going to throw from split backs or are they going to run it? A well-executed play and close to picking up the 1st down if he didn't get it.
He is short by inches. So now the question, and we're going to get the answer here right now. They're going to go for it on 4th and inches instead of taking the easy 3.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question what Mike Holmgren was going to do on this play. Again, think back to last week. He went for it on 4th down in that ball game. You know, he knows that touchdowns are what it's going to take to prevail in this game. And he's got enough confidence not only in his runner, but also in that offensive line up front.
Extra offensive lineman. Ashworth is in, 4th and inches. Alexander bouncing it into the end zone for the touchdown. Touchdown Seattle. And on 4th and inches, it's Sean Alexander, last year's MVP, picking up a 4-yard touchdown run.
Well, again, it's just a great example of the patience that Sean Alexander has. You're talking about 4th and inches, and yet he doesn't head north and south. He bounces it again. And then he comes underneath Urlacher. He did a good job of putting a move on Urlacher, getting underneath that tackle, and then getting it into the end zone.
It's a tie game with 2.5 to play. A 5-play drive after the Rex Grossman fumble. And 4 of the 5 plays were in the arms of Sean Alexander. Julian Peterson forced it. Chuck Darby fell on it for Seattle, and then the Seahawks took advantage of it.
Yeah, you just got to be careful as a quarterback when you know you're under pressure. You got to somehow secure the football, and that was costly for the Bears.
Up to that moment, we had gone over a 1/4 in this game with no penalties, no sacks, and no turnovers. But the first turnover forced by Peterson. There's Julian, turns into 7 points. Let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Yeah, Joe, it wasn't looking good there for Mark Bradley, who had to leave the field on a cart. That right ankle is the issue. He is questionable for his return. They've taken him back into the locker room to get a better look at that ankle, Joe. Back to you.
All right, Pam, and he is one of the speed threats on the outside for Rex Grossman. Been trying to get Bradley and Berrien on the field more, have the Bears test secondaries, and it looks like they'll be without Bradley for at least the time being. Here is Gabe Reed, one of the backup tight ends on the return, and that squib kick does not pay off for Seattle. They're trying to keep it away from Devin Hester, and it's a 19-yard return by Gabe Reed, and the Bears have great field position with a ball at their own 42. Coming February 18th. The world's best drivers return to Fox to go door to door to see who will take home the checkered flag in the 49th running of the Great American Race, beginning February 18th. Fox Sports is the exclusive home of the Daytona 500. Handoff is to Thomas Jones, and Jones can get it to the 45, a couple of inches beyond. Picked up 2, and Tutupu was the first one there for the Seahawks.
I don't much understand the squib kick. You know, teams use it a lot. You know, Devin Hester, we've seen him put the ball on the ground a couple of times. Certainly we're well aware of what he's able to do and the touchdowns that he's had, but now you give the ball to the Bears with great field position.
After Sean Alexander's touchdown, it's a 14-14 game with 2 minutes to play in the half.
The NFC Divisional Playoffs on Fox are sponsored by the new AT&T. Your world delivered.
Men of the square table, there is something that's always bothered me. Fans who leave the game before it's over just to beat the traffic.
Yeah, but what if you're down by 30 points?
Hello, Houston, Buffalo, 1993?
What if you think you left the oven on?
Why would the oven be on?
Say you were baking a pie. You know, like for a tailgate party or something.
Double man law. No leaving early, no baking on game day.
Double man law.
For great taste, there's no debate. Miller Lite.
Can't talk now.
He's got
Busy! I can't get that. I'm in the zone over here. Yeehaw.
You know how FedEx helped us with all our shipping needs? Overnight, ground, even the heavy stuff. And with fast, reliable deliveries and flexible pickups, I don't think Scott's gotten used to not being so busy.
Worky work, busy bee!
Grow your business with customized shipping solutions from FedEx.
See me driving down the street. I'm bored with looking good.
FedEx, proud sponsor of the FedEx Air and Ground NFL Players of the Year, presents this year's nominees on the ground. San Francisco's Frank Gore had almost 1,700 yards rushing. The Chiefs' Larry Johnson ran for nearly 1,800 yards on a league record 416 attempts. And San Diego's LaDainian Tomlinson ran for 1,815 yards, earning his first rushing title. Go to FedExFootball.com to vote for the FedEx Air and Ground NFL Players of the Year.
Coming up on the Visa Halftime Report, Kurt, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy, an interview with Saints head coach Sean Payton, a 24 sneak peek, plus the Fox Sports ticker with updated playoff statistics. Rex Grossman had turned the ball over 18 times in the last 7 games. Actually, the final Sunday night game of the season, pulled after a half through 3 interceptions. Just fumbled it, turned into 7 points, and now in a tie game, here's Muhammad. Muhsin Muhammad with a first down inside Seattle territory to their 34-yard line, 21 yards from Rex Grossman.
You know, Seattle showed blitz there, but didn't bring it. But because Michael Boulware was out of position, it opened up the throwing lane.
Quick throw, Rashid Davis to the 16. Bears have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. So do the Seahawks. That was good for 18 yards, and Davis is hobbling. And Chicago will spend their first timeout with 1:26 left in the half.
Now you go back to the first throw, and Boulware right here is acting like he's going to come up on the blitz, but by doing that, he opens up the throwing lane there to Muhsin Muhammad. Now on the other play, they don't cover up Rashid Davis. They allow him just to come off the line of scrimmage, and Rex Grossman does a great job of recognizing it and just getting the ball and coming up and then getting it right into his hands.
There's the half for Grossman to this point. The touchdown to Berrien. And after that 68-yard touchdown throw, the Bears kind of got conservative again. Last 2 throws have been productive from Grossman, and here's a first down for Chicago at the Seahawk 16.
Well, you can certainly tell that Rex Grossman is feeling very confident throwing the football.
During the bye week, they went back to the basics. Grossman with time throws and gets rid of it. Penalty flag as Berrien may have been interfered with by Kelly Jennings. It's the first flag of the day.
Well, here it is. Kelly Jennings working against Bernard Berrien, and they were engaged there when the ball was thrown, and the flag came out. I mean, it looked like Rex Grossman was throwing it away as much as anything, but because they were engaged when the ball came out, that's what brought the flag.
There's no illegal contact. The quarterback can roll out of the pocket. Second down.
Cannot be illegal contact if the quarterback is outside the pocket. The question is, was he outside the pocket? Either way, it wasn't pass interference. It would have been illegal contact. And as Grossman rolled out to his left, out of the pocket, and they pick up the flag. Looked like a good no call, and with 1:20 left in the half, it's 2nd and 10. From behind, Grossman has his arm hit. Incomplete pass. It was Bryce Fisher, the defensive end, and there's another flag on the field right in the middle of all the action.
Well, they brought the pressure on the outside, and Rex Grossman retreated right into it.
No foul on the play. The flag fell out of the umpire's pocket. 3rd down.
You're going to see Rex Grossman on a 3-step drop. Julian Peterson getting out on the edge, and he's able to go right around John Tate. But on a 3-step drop, even though they were pump faking it one way, you've got to know you got to get the ball out. And you're not going to have that kind of time, especially with Julian Peterson at defensive end coming off the edge.
3rd down and 10. Grossman looking left, hits Muhsin Muhammad. It depends on the spot. It looks like Muhammad may be a little shy of a 1st down. And all the while, the clock continues to wind with under a minute to go. It is 4th down. And the crowd wants Lovie Smith to go for it. Grossman will take a timeout, and they'll talk about it.
Yeah, now it's decision time for Lovie Smith.
It's less than a yard, but a little more than inches.
Yeah, you know, where Mike Holmgren went for it on 4th down, I agree with that because of where Seattle is and what the underdog coming in, so to speak. But I think for Chicago, I think you kick the field goal here.
The marker is at the 6. Grossman back onto the field. The ball is just inside the 7.
Yeah, and Rex Grossman, he ran out onto the field just a moment ago to find out exactly how far they've got to go for the 1st down. Now, he can ask for the officials to measure this so that they'll know exactly upstairs how far they have to go. I'm a little surprised that they're not doing that.
Well, here's a chance for the Seahawks defense to stiffen up and avoid falling behind here at the end of the half. The ball actually comes loose, and Muhammad has to re-grab it. And the difference in that might have cost Chicago the 1st down. Now Seattle will take a timeout. With 52 seconds remaining, Seattle takes their 1st timeout. It's like the end of a half in basketball. Offense about to break the huddle and come up to the line, and Mike Holmgren wants a timeout. Well, we saw early, Troy, that the offensive line for Chicago, anchored by Olin Kreutz in the middle, the 1st-team All-Pro, was able to move out this undersized defensive line for Seattle. It's 4th down, and you have to believe that the Bears believe they can line it up and pick up a yard behind this offensive line.
Well, as an offense and certainly as a head coach, you always want to come away with touchdowns as opposed to 3 points. And you'd like to think that this offensive line can get the necessary push to pick up the 1st down. But I will tell you, if Seattle's able to stop them here on 4th down and get out of this half without giving up any points and tied 14-14, it's going to be a huge momentum shift going into the locker room.
It's 4th down. It's Thomas Jones for the touchdown. Second of the day for Jones, and virtually untouched on 4th and inches.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, Joe. It didn't even look like anybody was able to get a hand on him. Just off tackle, pretty basic fundamental play. Great execution by Chicago.
Bears by 7. When we talked to John Marshall, the defensive coordinator for the Seahawks, and we asked him, who do you miss the most in this game against Chicago? He said Marcus Tubbs, the run-stuffing defensive lineman. They certainly missed him here.
That's a good job of getting in behind Reuben Brown, the left guard. He pulls and leads the way, and not only did Thomas Jones not get touched, Reuben Brown didn't get touched. Either one of those guys could have had the ball and scored.
So Jones with 2 touchdowns, Barry in the other. And Rex Grossman, Troy, just got his team down the field in a 2-minute offense and into the end zone to lead 21-14. And now with 48 seconds left in the half, Big Olin Kreutz celebrating after the touchdown. We'll see what the Seahawks want to do with it.
Well, I know Mike Holmgren, I know Matt Hasselbeck, and they're going to, with 2 timeouts left, you can be certain that they're going to try to come away with something here before the end of this half. A good job there by Rex Grossman and this offense of the Chicago Bears. Of course, Rex Grossman made some key throws on that drive to get him down there and allow Thomas Jones to go in for the touchdown.
A lot could depend on how good this return is by Burleson. He's had 2 good ones. From inside the 5. Will it give Seattle a chance to get something done? Well, he's had a good day returning kicks. He's out to the 29. We look ahead to next week and the New Orleans Saints in the NFC Championship game. Drew Brees, what a year at quarterback. Last night, 243 yards. Deuce McAllister, 163 total yards and 2 touchdowns. And then the electrifying rookie, Reggie Bush, 95 total yards and a touchdown. And the guy pictured that I didn't mention is Marcus Colston, who came out of nowhere as the big receiving threat for New Orleans.
It just seemed, Joe, that whenever somebody had to step up and make a play last night, they did it. Whether it was Reggie Bush, Drew Brees, or even the defense there at the end of that game.
Play action from Hasselbeck. In trouble. Alex Brown drags him down. And that could determine what Seattle does the rest of the way and just let the clock wind down.
Yeah, I think now they're gonna huddle here and let the clock run down. And a nice job there by Alex Brown. I know that, he and Ogunleye had not been getting the pressure here over recent weeks. I know Lovie Smith was disappointed in that, but a good job on the last play.
And this figures to be the last play of the half. Maurice Morris. The questions about Rex Grossman coming in, some of those questions answered with a lot of help from Thomas Jones. Chicago leading by 7 at the break. 21-14. The Visa halftime show coming up right after this. Wintry mix they were calling for isn't here. Seattle will start this second half with a ball. Burleson's got 3 returns for 96 yards so far, and he's got another decent return out near the 30. And now we go down to Pam Oliver. Pam.
Yeah, Joe, Lovie Smith understands the opponent's mission to get pressure on his quarterback. Grossman took some shots in that first half, and Lovie wants to see it stopped. He wants better protection of Grossman. He also said ball security is of utmost importance in the second half, as is the desire to keep Seattle off of a short field. Meanwhile, Mark Bradley, out with that ankle injury, will not return. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Pam. And something you just brought up to me a moment ago, Troy, is that Jeremy Stevens, who had 2 touchdowns against Dallas last week, has been shut out the big tight end for Seattle so far.
Yeah, and you'd think with some of the things Seattle does that he'd be a little more involved.
Hasselbeck keeps it, hits the former Bear, Bobby Ingram. Ingram, who is more or less Hasselbeck's security blanket, gains 8. So a nice safe throw to start this second half.
Yeah, get Hasselbeck outside the pocket just a little bit, move him around, and then get the ball to Ingram, as you said, Joe. I mean, thinking back to last week's game against Dallas, the best plays they had were the throws that they had to Bobby Ingram. That's the guy that Matt has the most confidence in.
Second down and 2. Alexander picks up the first down for Seattle out to the 41-yard line. Picked up 4, and it was a first half that, believe it or not, did not have any penalties. One time they picked up a flag, another time it just fell out of the umpire's pocket with some loose change and an old Bic lighter.
Yeah, you know, you look at that, 0 penalties. That's really somewhat hard to believe, because I think that if you wanted to, you could call a penalty on virtually every snap.
First down, Seattle at their own 41. Hasselbeck throws for Ingram. 2 on this opening drive of the second half to Bobby Ingram. That's good for 17. Vasher on the stop for Chicago.
Well, we heard the report, and as Holmgren said, if Matt Hasselbeck can get some time to throw the football, I mean, he's capable of getting awfully hot. That ball came out a little bit funny, but he got the time to throw, and he was able to fit it in there. You know, Mike Holmgren knows better than anybody that when Matt Hasselbeck, when he starts throwing the ball with confidence and gets on a roll, he's as good as anybody in the league.
On first down, the pass is complete. There is Ingram on the other side. Bobby was a guy who was inactive for 9 games with a thyroid issue. Lost some weight, worked his way back, and Hasselbeck is happy to be able to rely on Bobby Ingram.
Yeah, and this time Urlacher is able to get some pressure on him, a little bit of a delayed blitz by Urlacher, but you're right, Joe. I mean, you look at this possession alone and the plays that they've made and the receptions that Bobby Ingram has been a part of.
3 catches, 32 yards on this drive, and Alexander carries it right up the middle, and Alexander gets it to the 30 with another Seahawk first down. And Seattle has come out of the locker room making a statement here with the football.
And what's interesting is, I know coming into the game, Seattle really did not feel that they could run the ball between the tackles. They thought that in order for Sean Alexander to have success, they were going to have to get it out on the edges, because the strength of that defense for Chicago is Brian Urlacher and inside. But yet, the best runs that Alexander has had has been in the middle.
On first down, Alexander this time doesn't get much. Picks up a yard to the Chicago 29. Urlacher there for the tackle. And at the risk of making this an Urlacher love fest, it's easy to turn a game and a broadcast into that because of the kind of player he is. I thought it was interesting when he said it just sounds different between a run and a pass. When a team's passing compared to running, it has a different sound at the snap of the ball.
And the reason for that is that when it's a run, the lineman firing off the ball and the shoulder pads colliding creates a much louder noise.
Second and 9. Hasselbeck steps up, gonna run. Gets hit hard by Hillenmeyer, and Matt Hasselbeck is a yard shy of a first down. 3rd and 1.
You know, when you think of Matt Hasselbeck, I mean, you really do think of him as being a pocket passer, but he has amazing ability to escape the rush. And as you see him coming in there, it still looks like he's trying at best to protect that hand. Normally, when you're going to the ground there, you put the left hand down to kind of brace your fall, but instead he's clutching it very close to his body.
Third down and 1. Alexander won't get it. Lost yardage. Briggs on the stop. A loss of 1 on the play. It's 4th down and 2. And Josh Brown will attempt the first field goal of the day.
You know, Sean Alexander trying to get in behind Max Strong, but Lance Briggs comes underneath him and then is able to meet Sean Alexander in the hole. You know, Lance Briggs going to another Pro Bowl this year. Just an outstanding player on that defensive unit.
Big year for Josh Brown with 4 game-winning field goals, trying from 40 yards. hits, and it's a 4-point game. So Josh Brown is good from 40. Good snap, good hold. The kick was perfect. And it's 21-17. Chicago on top. Hence to return it. Devin Hester with 6 return touchdowns during the regular season. Returns at 15 yards. The defense for Chicago stiffened up. It was Briggs making a stop on 3rd and 1, forcing the field goal. 21-17 Chicago.
What would you change about your full?
Jones runs into Babineau, picks up 3. Well, tonight at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, it is finally here. It begins a 2-night, 4-hour event. The season premiere of 24. 8 Eastern, 7 Central. Viewer discretion is advised. One of the beauties about working for this network is you get advanced copies of shows like 24. I've seen it, and it does not disappoint.
Yeah, you've been cheating, haven't you?
I have been a little bit. I have to admit. 2nd down and 7. You can play like Jack Bauer as Muhammad can't get off, and they will throw a flag. Babineau was defending, and they are going to call. The early indication was against Chicago. The initial indication was it was against Muhammad. See if that's the case as Jerry Austin.
Pass interference, 27 defense, automatic first down.
The official that ran in first pointed to the Chicago side, and I think that is what has startled Mike Holmgren. There was contact there, but right near the line of scrimmage, and they threw a flag on Babineau.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. The Seattle Seahawks brought pressure with Michael Boulware, but I didn't really see enough there to warrant a flag being thrown. Jordan Babineau was a corner, then he got moved to safety, and now he's back at corner because of the injuries.
It was only a 1-yard penalty, but a first down, and Grossman goes down. Wistrom. So the first sack, it belongs to Wistrom, and a loss of 6.
Yeah, Grant Wistrom, he's right here, and he just comes off the edge, and he's not the speed guy that he once was, but he puts a little bull rush there, and he's able to get to the feet of Rex Grossman. You'd have thought that Rex would have been able to get that one out of his hand, but you know, Grant Wistrom is a high-energy guy, and boy, they sure miss him when he's not in the lineup. He's been a great leader for this Seattle team ever since coming over from St. Louis.
2nd and 16. Handoff is to Jones. He slips, and it's going to be 3rd and long for Chicago. No gain on that carry by Thomas Jones, who has 2 touchdown runs this afternoon.
You know, we're seeing a lot of the same things from Seattle defensively that we saw them use last week in that win over the Dallas Cowboys. They're mixing up coverages very well, trying to keep this Bears offense and offensive coordinator Ron Turner off balance, but doing a nice job on this possession here.
3rd down and 16. Just a 4-man rush. And the Seahawks still get there. Rocky Bernard drags down Grossman. 2 sacks on that possession. And the Seahawks defense, after the offense moved the ball, steps up.
Yeah, and this is what they do on 3rd and long. You're going to see they cover everybody up with the receivers and then go 3 deep behind it. So it's basically what is called a 3 cloud. And with that, it's very, very difficult then to get the ball down the field. The Seahawks go to that defensive scheme on 3rd and long, and they were still able to get pressure on Grossman.
Burleson waiting for the punt. He gets interfered with before he can make the catch of the punt. That was Wesley downfield. And a 43-yard punt, the flag, because of that interference by Dante Wesley. And let's say this, if that's the case with that 3 cloud coverage, Grossman did what they want him to do, which is not make a mistake, not force it, turn it over.
With the opportunity to make a catch, number 21 in the kicking team. He prevented the receiver from getting to the football. 15 yards from the spot of the foul, first down.
And that's one of the things that Grossman's really done a good job of in this game, is that if he hasn't had it, he hasn't tried forcing anything and creating a big play.
Great field position for Seattle when we come back as they trail here in Chicago by 4. Hunt brings the ball, the 15-yard penalty up to the Seattle 49. And that's going to be on Max Strong, the fullback.
False start, 38 offense. 5 yards, it's still first down.
Let's go back to that Dante Wesley penalty when he threw a shoulder into Burleson before the ball got there. And that little tap takes the ball all the way out near midfield.
Well, Seattle sure did a good job offensively, taking the opening possession here of the second half and being able to drive the ball down and get the field goal and keep the pressure on Chicago. Now can they do something with what is good field position once again?
First down and 15. They hand it to Alexander, and Sean has got nowhere to go. No gain on the play, and whether it was the rookie Mark Anderson or it was Tank Johnson or Vasher, there was a wall there for the Bears defense at 2nd and 15.
This Bears defense does run very well. I know Seattle's defense is, as we have said, is undersized and is really based on speed, but Chicago, even though they're not as small as what Seattle is, they do have great team speed and run very, very well. In fact, that's one of the real strengths of this defense, is their ability to fly to the ball.
Another blitz from Chicago, and the pass is complete. Good throw and catch. Deion Branch for 11. It's 3rd down.
You know, Deion Branch, and you know, in talking with Matt Hasselbeck, they're still really trying to develop their chemistry, because about the time they started to get it, Matt Hasselbeck went down with his knee injury, and he really just has to try to watch Deion Branch and how he runs his route, and then determine where he's going to be and then put the ball on him. It was a nice executed play for the completion there to put this into a manageable 3rd down.
3rd down and 4. Hasselbeck with all day for Deion Branch, his 3rd catch of the game, 2nd in a row. And he's got a first down for Seattle inside the Bear 25 to the 23.
And you watch what Chicago does defensively here. They're only going to rush 2 guys. The 2 defensive ends drop out. They only bring the defensive tackles, and yet Matt Hasselbeck is able to find the hole there in the secondary. A 2-deep look. And that's the weakness right over there on that sideline at about 18 yards is where the hole in the 2-deep defense is, and they exploited it.
What a beautiful throw from Hasselbeck as Alexander staggers his way down to a 10-yard gain. Depends on the spot. Looks like it's enough for a first down, and it is. First down Seattle, and Alexander Troy has picked it up here in the second half.
Alexander came out early in this ball game and really was unable to get anything going, which is not that unusual against a good defensive team, but if you stick with it, eventually things start to open up, and that's what we're seeing right now from Seattle's running game.
The ball at the Chicago 13-yard line, first down. Hasselbeck slips a little, fires, and it's tipped away by Hillenmeyer. What a good play, and may have saved a touchdown with Jeremy Stevens behind the defense.
This is where they like to go to Jeremy Stevens down here in the red zone. Hunter Hillenmeyer plays it perfectly. He's a pretty good athlete himself, running stride for stride with Jeremy Stevens. Oftentimes, Hunter Hillenmeyer is overlooked because of the play of Lance Briggs and Brian Urlacher, but he has been a key contributor all year.
What a play that was to bring up 2nd down and 10 with 5:07 left in the 3rd quarter. Hasselbeck with time, that's tipped and incomplete. Todd Johnson knocked down Stevens as the ball got there. It had been tipped near the line of scrimmage, and it's 3rd and 10.
You know, we've seen Seattle get down in this position now a couple of times and not being able to continue with the drive and finish the drive and come away with touchdowns. This would be a nice stop for Chicago if they force Seattle into just 3 points.
Looked like Alex Brown got a pinky on that ball as it was headed towards Stevens. 3rd and 10. Handoff is to Alexander. He is in for the touchdown. And with that, Seattle is on top here in Chicago. Third down and 10, and a draw play to Sean Alexander.
You're going to see Brian Urlacher here acting as if he's going to shoot the gap, and then he bails out. But by bailing out, Chris Spencer, the center, is then able to get him moving backwards and create that lane right up the middle. A great call by Mike Holmgren.
Brown just gets it through, and it's a 3-point Seattle lead. Their first lead of the day as Alexander pounds it in, trying to take over in this second half. Seahawks up 3. Half, and they've taken the lead. Devin Hester fielded it at about the 20 and is tripped up after crossing the 35. 17-yard return, and it was Marquise Cooper on the stop. Alexander with the latest touchdown, giving the Seahawks a 3-point advantage. Bears trail by 3. And the onus is back on this Chicago offense to get something going. In this quarter, minus 9 yards of offense. And now it's Seattle up by 3. Start with a throw and a pass over the middle, caught for a first down. Big Desmond Clark. Time to throw for Grossman there, but Rex has been under pressure much of the day.
Well, and that's when he's gotten himself in trouble, as you can see, and when he has had problems throughout the year, that's when he's had them, is because teams have been able to get pressure on him, which is not, all that unusual with a quarterback. But sometimes Rex tries to do a little bit too much. I know coming into this game.
5 yards. Still first down.
Just to cut you off, there was an illegal substitution there, so too many men in the huddle and a 5-yard penalty against Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, you think about coming into this game and in talking with Seattle and their coaches and what they wanted to do. They wanted to get pressure up inside. They're not so much worried about trying to protect their corners, which is why they've been able to create a little bit pressure with some of the blitzes, but most of their pressure has come off the edges.
1st and 15, the pass for Berrien wide open. Defended by Jennings, and Berrien got great position, good for 21 yards.
Yeah, they've been going after the rookie, Kelly Jennings, a little bit already, and as you're going to see, Kelly Jennings giving him up pretty good space there because of the speed of Bernard Berrien, and a pretty easy pitch and throw there for Rex Grossman.
That brings the ball to the Seattle 33. They're relying on Grossman on this possession, and that throw incomplete, but a flag is down. Muhsin Muhammad. Perfect throw from Rex Grossman. And a flag is laying down there on the grass.
Yeah, and again, it's Kelly Jennings.
Contact. 21 on the defense. 5 yards. First down.
Run a little bit of a double move there with Muhsin Muhammad on Kelly Jennings, and they're able to get him for the penalty.
And there is exactly what you were talking about, picking on the rookie Kelly Jennings. Jordan Babineau's on the other side, 27. He's missed an interception in this game. And a guy who earlier in the year was moved to safety for a while because he was struggling out of corner with Trufant out. Herndon and Williams on IR. It's Babineau back at cornerback. Thomas Jones gets it down to the 24. Bears are already well within field goal range for Robbie Gould, a first-team All-Pro place kicker for Chicago.
Yeah, this is a nice drive here by Chicago, going down by 3 points and really needing to get something going offensively, and then being able to get some plays out of the passing game, get it down here in field goal range. And I know that they want to run the football, and they've done a pretty good job of doing that today. But this is still a defensive secondary that can be exploited.
2nd and 6. Over the middle, the pass is behind Berrien, but he makes a nice catch. He's going to be inches short of a first down. Peterson on the tackle. And now they're going to give Berrien a first down, even though the official ran in shy of the marker. Quick first down signal by Jerry Austin.
Yeah, I was a little surprised. Looked like a pretty favorable spot where they came in and marked that one. Leroy Hill came in and made the hit that stopped his progression.
But Jerry Austin came in, signaled first down, so from the 18, first down, Chicago. Jones got half a yard. Let's say this, I would say that there's been a little bit of a taking the handcuffs off on the part of Ron Turner, the offensive coordinator here, after falling behind. Looked like he said, all right, we can't hide Rex Grossman. He's going to have to make throws, make completions, and get us down the field. He's done it.
Well, Ron Turner is an outstanding offensive coordinator in this league and has been for a number of years. In fact, they're not real sure that he's even going to be back next year. He's one of the candidates for the Miami Dolphins job. I know they'd hate to lose him here in Chicago.
2nd down and 9. Out of the backfield, it's Reed. And the tight end will take it to the 12. Picked up 5 yards. 3rd down coming up. It's Gabe Reed, a 4th-year pro out of BYU. And it's 3rd down and 4.
Yeah, this becomes a big down for both teams. I mean, clearly for the Bears, you get down here in the red zone, you need to come away with a touchdown. And for Seattle, to try to hold them to a field goal and just get this game tied up. The Bears today have done a great job on 3rd down.
They started 5 for 5. They're 0 for their last 6. It's 3rd and 4. A blitz from Seattle. Grossman fires to Rashid Davis, but he is brought down immediately. Hunter and Boulware were there, a loss of 1, and it's 4th down. Robbie Gould will come onto the field.
Yeah, again, just a good job by John Marshall, the defensive coordinator, bringing pressure. Jordan Babineau, again, comes on the blitz, and because of that, Rex Grossman is forced to come underneath to the shorter receiver, Rashid Davis, and you're just hoping then that he can make one person miss and pick up the first down, but good tackling by the Seahawks.
Robbie Gould missed only 4 during the regular season, trying to tie it. Whistles and flags before the snap. Let's get the call. If it's from and against Seattle, this could be very close to a first down. If it's a 5-yard penalty, and that's why Jerry Austin's over there looking.
We'll have a defensive player making a move to cause offensively. It's a 5-yard penalty. The result will be a first down.
First down, Chicago.
Boy, talk about a killer penalty right there. Leroy Hill, 56, is the guy who started early. Now all of a sudden you're giving Chicago 3 more downs and an opportunity to get a touchdown.
And they'll wind the clock. That'll do it for the 3rd quarter. So it's Leroy Hill, an attempt by the defensive player Hill to try to force a false start. That's why Hill got the penalty. That's why Chicago gets the first down. 1st and goal when we come back after this from your local Fox station. Because of a Leroy Hill penalty. He has a game-high 8 tackles, but a huge penalty called against him. Instead of a 24-24 game, a chance for Chicago to regain the lead. Thomas Jones. Back to the line of scrimmage, and we go back to that penalty called against Leroy Hill.
Yeah, again, here he is. Just not a very smart play on his part, Joe, in an attempt to try to get somebody to jump off sides, which you cannot do. You know, he wound up getting called, and it was the right call. And it's unfortunate for Seattle because all of a sudden, as we know, you give Chicago the first down, and Mike Holmgren, as you can tell, not happy about it at all. But the officials got it right.
Second down and goal. And it's a false start against Chicago.
False start, 80 offense, 5 yards, still second down.
Bernard Berrien out on the edge.
Well, that's a costly penalty as well. And Bernard Berrien, he flinches. Doesn't take much, as you can tell. They called him on it. You get down here, second and long. Second and goal from the 14-yard line. Trying to score from here is difficult.
On second and goal, Grossman to Thomas Jones out of the backfield. Nowhere to run, and it was Babineau to make the stop. It's third and goal, and they'll mark the ball at the 10. This has been a drive. Been 9 plays. 6 of them have been throws by Rex Grossman, and he's 6 for 6. So the Bears have taken the training wheels off a little during this possession, but still trying to get it into the end zone. It's third and goal. Grossman, Muhammad off his hands, and it's picked off by Pete Hunter. Hunter, who was a loan officer working in the Dallas area before he was signed to play against the Cowboys, gets the deflection. That one is not on Grossman. It was off the hands of Muhsin Muhammad and into the arms of Pete Hunter.
Yeah, a ball that Muhsin Muhammad could have caught. You know, it's there on the back shoulder, but not a real difficult catch. But because it came off the shoulder pad, Pete Hunter then is able to make the interception. I know in talking with Rex Grossman the other day, Joe, he said if we get an opportunity to go after the loan officer, that's exactly what we're going to do. This is the first opportunity that they've had. And as you said, no fault of Rex Grossman, but the loan officer just got him a big interception.
So Grossman and the Bears turn it over for the second time, and play action from Hasselbeck. Looking for somewhere to throw it, and he's picked off by Manning. Ricky Manning Jr. takes it away. Still is on his feet down inside the 35. Hasselbeck gives it right back.
Seattle defensively does a great job of stopping and coming up with a turnover, only to have Hasselbeck give it right back to him.
Manning with 6 interceptions total on the year, 3 of them picking off Matt Hasselbeck. As Matt Hasselbeck just made one of those throws that drives his head coach Mike Holmgren absolutely crazy.
And it's a throw that's really defenseless. I mean, Matt Hasselbeck is too seasoned of quarterback to be making the attempt that he tried fitting a ball in, that there was just no way he was going to be able to get that one in there.
Best starting field position of any drive for the Bears all day, and they start on the ground with Benson, who is wrapped up from behind. That was Bernard on the stop, a gain of 1, and we go back to the pick.
Now you go back and you take a look at it, and you're going to see Ricky Manning right there. And that's where the relation was between him and the receiver when Matt Hasselbeck turned that one loose. The only possible chance was to put it up high. Instead, he tried throwing a line drive, and just an easy interception for Ricky Manning.
Second down and 9. Grossman over the middle. Berrien dropped it. It was behind him, and he dropped it. Berrien was wide open. Grossman didn't lead him, and Bernard could not adjust to it.
Well, pretty good design there by Ron Turner. Desmond Clark is going here, and then you're going to have Berrien, who's going to be coming across your screen, and they really put the linebacker there, Lofa Tatupu, in a bind. And just nobody there. If Berrien's able to make that catch, he scores.
A little behind him, and then he tried to make a one-handed grab.
No question, could have been a better ball from Rex Grossman.
Third down and 9. A blitz from Seattle. Grossman throws it up. It is incomplete. And the Bears are right on the edge of field goal range for Robbie Gould.
A good job by Leroy Hill. He doesn't blitz as much as what he used to because of Julian Peterson's presence, but he comes right up the middle, and he's the guy who's able to get to Rex Grossman and just force him to throw it up. A good defensive stand there by the Seattle defense. I'll tell you think about it, the last 2 possessions that Chicago has had, and yet they get the interception. Seattle does on the previous possession, and now trying to hold them to 3 points.
Chicago's going to have to hurry. Play clock is at 4. 49-yard try. This would equal. Instead, they're going to direct snap it to Gould, who's going to pooch punt it, but they throw the flag.
Prior to the snap, delay of game on the offense.
That makes the decision even easier, and the Bears do nothing with that gift turnover they got from Matt Hasselbeck. Maynard now into punt.
And Matt Hasselbeck, if they go on to win this game, ought to be going over and thanking every one of those defensive players for the job they did on that possession.
Burleson waiting deep for it, but Maynard will try and put it in a good spot. Rasheed Davis is downfield to haul it in. Where will they mark it? At the 7. The drop by Bernard Berrien on what could have been for Chicago. Instead, no point. Seattle has the ball and a 3-point lead. One of the fingers on his throwing hand, on the ring finger down by the nail. But he's now sitting and watching and wondering if his defense can do something with Seattle backed up at their own 7. This is a defense that got the week of rest last week, but really stumbled down the last 4 games of the regular season. Handoff to Alexander, and Alexander is going to lose a yard. First guy there was Briggs. Let's go down to Chris Myers.
Joe, Troy mentioned Matt Hasselbeck a moment ago thanking his defense. After he threw that interception, he walked over to the bench. Nobody said a word, and then he got up, and to anyone who would listen, he went across the bench and said it was my fault, my mistake. But as the defense stopped the Bears, he was the first one to greet the defense. Seattle expects their offense to do well in this game, Joe, but as their defense plays well, they seem to gain more and more confidence.
All right, Chris, thank you. Second down and 11 for Hasselbeck in this Seattle offense.
Defense will be greeting Hasselbeck if he's able to get it off this goal line.
Pass is caught by Stevens, and Stevens is about a yard shy of a first down. That's the first catch of the day for Jeremy Stevens, who I figured would be a bigger weapon today against this cover 2 defense of the Bears.
Yeah, I did too, Joe, coming in. I know Chicago runs a lot of cover 2. They also, run a lot of other coverages as well, but Jeremy Stevens has been playing good football here over the last few weeks, and he just has not been as big a part of this offense today.
That's Will Heller in the backfield. Little mix-up it looked like, and Hasselbeck is brought down by Agunlia.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what happened on the play here. You see Hasselbeck moving people around there to get in behind him, and then he's expecting, I don't think it was going to be a handoff, but it looked like he was expecting some type of play action and then just didn't know where to go with the ball.
That's the second Bears sack, and again, they've got their home run hitter waiting for it, Devin Hester. Hester able to stay in bounds. Penalty flag is on the field as Hester goes down the sideline. A flag is down. Hester is in for the touchdown. But a flag is down back inside the Chicago 40.
Well, it sure got the crowd excited, but this one looks like it's coming back.
There is a flag on the play.
During the return, illegal block from behind by the return team. 10 yards, first down.
They don't say a number. Hester had 6 returns for touchdowns this season, 3 punt returns for touchdowns, and we look at Ian Badejo. Not much there. We'll try and identify the penalty by the time we come back. And we have determined by talking to the officials booth that it was against 24. Ricky Manning Jr. takes the touchdown away from Devin Hester and moves the ball back inside the 30, starting at their own 29. Are the Bears down by 3? Cedric Benson out of the backfield. Picked up 9, and we go back to the penalty. It'll be on the left side of your screen, Ricky Manning Jr.
Yeah, and a good call, too. You're going to see Ricky Manning make the push right there, which really is what freed up Devin Hester. Still haven't said that. I mean, once he got up the sideline there, it's amazing that they couldn't get any defender over there to at least knock him out of bounds. You look at a lot of his returns this year, and a number of them have come, right up the sideline like that.
2nd down and 1. Grossman underneath. It's Benson again, out to the 49. 11 yards to Cedric Benson.
Well, it's a good job by Rex Grossman on those last 2 throws that he has made. Just not forcing anything down the field. He threw the swing pass to pick up some pretty good yards, and then coming underneath on that play to Cedric Benson. I think Rex Grossman has played a pretty efficient ball game here today.
1 interception that went off Muhammad's hands, then the fumble which turned into 7 points. Grossman steps up, and on 1st down, can't connect with Benson. Tuesday night at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. Get ready for the 2-hour season premiere of American Idol. The dream is back, and so are America's best and worst talents. Don't miss the season premiere on Tuesday, 8 Eastern, 7 Central, right here only on Fox.
I mean, don't you wonder why some of these people even show up for the auditions?
Yeah, and then I realize they're on network TV, and from William Hung on down, they end up making a name for themselves. 2nd down and 10. Benson, room to run. Boy, he does not go down easy at all. Ran right through Darryl Tapp, picked up 8.
He is a very physical runner. And one of the biggest reasons why he wasn't playing earlier was because he's not real good in pass protection, or at least he wasn't. And so teams would then know when they were going to be throwing it and when they were going to run it based on when he was in the lineup. But I'll tell you, he has been running the ball awfully hard. In fact, over the last 4 or 5 ball games, probably he's been running the ball more effectively than even what Thomas Jones has.
3rd down and 2, a toss to Jones. Looking for blocking. He has the 1st down. Out of bounds at the 34. Almost pushing Olin Kreutz to get out of his way or get up and make a block, and Jones picks up 11.
Well, we talked about how Sean Alexander has been able to get things going on the other side of the ball for Seattle. And now Chicago, they're getting the running game going just as well. And you think about the undersized guys of this defensive front for Seattle. And when you get into the 4th quarter, that begins to take its toll. This offensive line for the Bears have been coming off the ball and pounding on them. And those holes are beginning to get bigger and bigger.
7.5 to play. 1st down, Chicago. Now it's Benson, and Benson is to the 30. Picked up 4. This 2-man attack out of the backfield for Chicago, something we talked about early, is starting to show up, whether it's Thomas Jones, who has 2 touchdown runs on the day, or Benson now more on this drive, trying to wear down this small defensive front for Seattle.
Yeah, and then you think about the fact that Thomas Jones was able to rest and not take near as many carries over the last 4 weeks of the season. Pretty much both of these guys came into this game relatively fresh.
2nd and 6. Grossman, another safe throw. Benson, and a good play from the secondary, but no tackle made by Hunter. Pete Hunter came up, made the hit, but couldn't wrap up. and it turns into a gain of 4 and makes it 3rd and short.
Yeah, and that's really how you draw up the defense. Force them to throw it underneath and then come up and make the tackle. If they make the tackle there, then Benson doesn't pick up any yards at all. But 2 missed tackles, and all of a sudden he's picking up a good gain and making it a 3rd and short.
And also starts to make it a more manageable field goal try for Robbie Gould. It's 3rd down and 2. Benson in the backfield. Cedric Benson. Depends on the spot.
Well, it's going to be close. From where he ran in, Joe, I don't think he got it.
Yeah, he is inches short. Jerry Austin has already signaled that. So it is 4th down. And we'll get a timeout. They haven't signaled if it's an official timeout or a Bears timeout. Either way, we'll take a break. The chains are on the field. It appears to be 4th and 1 when we come back. Chains to come on the field after initially signaling Benson was short. They bring the chains on the field, and it was enough for a 1st down for Chicago. Really odd the way that transpired. It went from 4th down to a 1st down. It looked like the forward progress certainly made it close enough. You see where the official comes running in where they marked it initially, and the early indication from Austin was it was 4th down and he was about 1.5 feet short. They call for the chains, they measure it, and it's a 1st down. Benson just got back to the line of scrimmage at 2nd and 10, blitz, and Grossman just gets rid of it in the direction of McKee, the fullback, and now it's 3rd and 10.
Well, good job there by Rex Grossman, just throwing it away and not trying to force one in there. But, you know, a good job after them picking up the 1st down of Seattle, at least tightening things up. Again, if they're able to stop them here on 3rd down and get out of this with just a field goal, I think they'd be pretty pleased with it.
It would be a 42-yard try from here. Robbie Gould's long for the year, and in his career, 49 yards. It's 3rd and 10. Keep it on the ground. Thomas Jones. It's 4th down. A pickup of only 2, and Gould will come on and try and tie it.
I don't think the crowd was real happy about that play call, but I think it was the right call. 3rd and 10. The chances of converting that aren't real good. And then trying to take a chance on fitting a ball in for the 1st down, which potentially, as we've already seen, an interception off of Musa Muhammad's shoulder pads kept them from getting the field goal a couple possessions earlier.
On top of that, you take a sack, you may be out of field goal range. 41-yard try for Robbie Gould. And Gould makes it just inside the left upright and just over the crossbar. It's 24-24. Robbie Gould, the 2nd-year professional out of Penn State, just got it through to tie it at 24 with under 4.5 to play. 4:24, and the season premiere of 24 tonight on Fox, as Robbie Gould will kick it away for Chicago. And it'll be up to Matt Hasselbeck and the Seattle offense against Brian Urlacher and the Chicago defense. On this next possession, there's Tommy Harris, who suffered a terrible hamstring injury in a game here against Minnesota. On injured reserve, and a big piece of this defensive puzzle missing for Lovie Smith.
Yeah, you can tell when you watch this team, just an entirely different unit without him creating havoc in the middle.
A pop-up kick from Gould, and Burleson, who's averaging 30 yards a return today, has room to run and gives Seattle good starting field position. Up near their own 38. 20-yard return, Manning on the stop. Seattle with a football in a tie game. Here in this 4th quarter, in a tie game and a lot of action. In this quarter, the interception off Muhsin Muhammad. Then Hasselbeck gave it right back. A missed opportunity as Berrien dropped the pass behind him. A punt return for a touchdown called back because of a penalty, and Robbie Gould good from 41 to tie it. Just enough. A Bears defense that for the first 7 games allowed under 10 points a game. A different story without Mike Brown and Tommy Harris. Hasselbeck trying to pick it apart, and they go with Alexander. Runs around Chris Harris, and Alexander picks up 10. First down, Seattle, as Sean Alexander starts this drive with a 10.5-yard carry.
Boy, what a good run there by Sean Alexander. He gets bottled up inside, but he's able to bounce it out. You got Chris Harris there who's in a position to make a play, and yet he wasn't able to hold contain and at least force Sean Alexander back to the inside.
First down at their own 47. Alexander again, and this time he loses half a yard. Urlacher on the stop. Just so you know, when we went to break for that measurement, it was an official's timeout. The last possession for Chicago. And so it was not a timeout by the Bears, each side with all 3 of their timeouts remaining. And it's second down and 11 now for Seattle. Quick setup and throw. Branch with the catch. A yard shy of a first down. It's 3rd and 1.
You know, Matt Hasselbeck shows good timing on the throw, and Deion Branch getting inside and being able to put it on him. And here's a good look at it as you see when the ball was turned loose. Deion Branch running the slant, ball out in front. And if they're going to move the ball down here and come away with points, Hasselbeck obviously is going to be a big part of that. And you know he welcomes that pressure. He fully understands that this team's going to go as he goes.
On 3rd down and a yard, Alexander does not get it. It's 4th down with the ball inside the Chicago 45.
Well, it looks like they're going to let it run down to the 2-minute warning and then make a decision as to what they want to do.
We are at the 2-minute warning here at Soldier Field in Chicago. With 2 minutes to go, it's 4th down and a yard for Seattle in a 24-24 game. The Seahawks will go for it on 4th and a yard with 2 minutes to play. 1 for 1 on 4th down today with a touchdown.
I think most coaches would punt here in this situation, but yet if you're a team and you don't feel that you necessarily match up all that well, they're 1 for 1 on 4th down in this game. Obviously a huge play here.
Hasselbeck had trouble with a snap. Briggs makes the play and the Bears take over. And now Seattle has left Chicago with about 25 yards or so to go before they get into field goal range for Robbie Gould.
Well, you called it, Joe. Hasselbeck had trouble getting the snap, bobbled it, and because of that, they were unable to get any push with Chris Spencer or Rob Sims at left guard. And then Briggs there to make the play.
Each team with all 3 of their timeouts remaining. A setup and throw, and it is batted down by Bryce Fisher, who got up and at least got up on the play. Can't get up after the play. Now he can, as he's seen him limp off a couple of times this afternoon.
A good play by Bryce Fisher getting up there, just trying to throw a quick slant pass. Rex Grossman was. I tell you what, you really put the burden then on your defense going forward on 4th down. And now not much margin for error here defensively in trying to keep the Bears from getting into a position of kicking what could be the game-winning field goal.
On 2nd and 10, Grossman drops back, a safe throw to Jones, needing to make a move. Turns it into a decent play. He got around Bulware, a gain of 3. So you talked about how you can't hide your quarterback in the playoffs? Here are the Bears asking Rex Grossman, who has had so many highs and so many lows this season, to get them in a position to kick the game-winning field goal and get him to the NFC Championship.
Yeah, and oftentimes, you know, when you're playing against teams that are of even caliber, they come down to the fourth quarter, the last couple of minutes, your quarterback has to make plays to win games.
A blitz from Seattle. A throw, it is batted up, and what a good job by Thomas Jones. He avoided an interception. Thomas Jones knocked it away, and it's fourth down.
No question, just a great job by Thomas Jones. Rocky Bernard gets the hand on the ball. Looks like he's going to intercept it there at one point, but Thomas Jones goes up for it and knocks it down. Just a heads-up play on Jones's part.
So the defense for Chicago gets the stop, but the Bears do nothing with it, and now Maynard puts it into the end zone. So with 1:38 remaining and all 3 timeouts left, plenty of time for Seattle to go back the other way.
Well, and I tell you, I mean, we come into this game talking about this Seattle defense and the injuries that they have and how they're undermanned, and yet when the Chicago Bears get the ball with great field position, they go 3 and out and force the punt. Just a great job on their part. I'll tell you, Matt Hasselbeck, we talked about it a little bit earlier, thanking the defense when he threw the interception and then they stopped Chicago. This defense has risen to the occasion on a number of occasions in this game.
Total yards, Chicago has the edge. Tied at 24, and it's Seattle with the ball at their own 20. Hasselbeck going to air it out down the sideline, incomplete. Good coverage by Vasher on Deion Branch. The last 4 weeks of the season, this defense has struggled for Chicago, but today they've come up with some big plays, whether it's been Lance Briggs, a sack by Agunlia, and on that last effort, Briggs knifed through as Hasselbeck bobbled the snap, and they're trying to get their swagger back on defense. 2nd and 10. Hand off to Alexander, big running room. And Sean Alexander is out across the 30 with a Seattle first down. And the Seahawks will spend their first time out.
I'll tell you what, a nice job there by Seattle offensively. I mean, they take a shot down the field on first down, just trying to get the Bears off of them. You know, Seattle really hasn't taken that many shots down the field. Incomplete. And to be able to hand the ball off to Sean Alexander there on 2nd and 10 and pick up first down, big play.
Yeah, and I would say for the most part in the second half, when Seattle's been able to move the ball, there have been a few throws from Hasselbeck, but it has been Alexander, last year's MVP, that's come up with some big runs here in this second half.
He's run the ball very well, and I think that if you're Chicago, and here you are with 1:24 left in the game in a tie ball game, I mean, who would you rather have out on the field than this defense, who you've really kind of relied on all season long? You mentioned it, Joe, down the stretch. This defense has struggled, but today they've made plays really when they've had to make them, and they're being tested on this possession.
What Josh Brown, the field goal kicker for Seattle, tells Matt Hasselbeck, his quarterback, is get it to the 37. The 35 would be nice. I'd love the 30, but if you can get it to the 37-yard line, I can win the game, which he has done 4 times this season for Seattle.
And he'll have the wind at his back if he gets into a position to kick one.
1:24 left, and it's Alexander with another big run. The Bears cannot stop Sean Alexander as he gains 11 and another first down.
And it looked like the Bears, as Sean Alexander was running on that play, that they were just trying to strip it initially, and that's what Seattle has to guard against. Chicago is outstanding in creating fumbles.
Hand off to Alexander, and this one goes nowhere. Agunlia, the first one there, and another timeout taken by Seattle. They have 1 left. Next Sunday, the New Orleans Saints can't wait to find out they're going to have to climb on a plane on Saturday and come here to Chicago, or if they get to stay home and take on Seattle. 2 o'clock Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. We are on the air with our NFC Championship Sunday.
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, there's no question that New Orleans would prefer to play that championship game, you know, there in New Orleans in front of that fan base that they have that was such a big part of their victory last night. But what a great feeling for them to be able to sit at home today and watch these games, knowing that they'll be there. And now it's just a matter of will it be Chicago or Seattle.
2nd down and 9 for Matt Hasselbeck. Will Grossman get another chance? .54 seconds left. Four-man rush. Hasselbeck throws. Stevens on the reception. Urlacher chasing him, and Stevens is a yard shy of a first down. As importantly, he gets out of bounds and stops the clock with 46 seconds remaining. It's 3rd and 1.
You know, this is where I just think Hasselbeck is so good. I mean, last week he was doing it. He was buying time under pressure. He's under pressure here. He's moving forward. But as he's moving forward, he's looking to get rid of the football. And he's got such a great understanding of this offense. He knows where all of his guys are.
3rd down and a yard, and it's Alexander to the 45 with a first down. So they'll move the chains. They're still outside field goal range for Josh Brown. Hasselbeck clocks it, 30 seconds left, 2nd and 10. The AT&T postgame show is coming up. An NFC Championship preview. They'll also talk about the game coming up later on this afternoon between San Diego and New England.
You know, Joe, if Josh Brown just needs to get the ball to the 37-yard line, I mean, you're talking 13 yards from where they are now.
2nd down and 10. Four-man rush again. Hasselbeck for Branch. Nearly picked off by Harris. Now it's 3rd and 10. Josh Brown, Troy, feels as if his range down toward this end of the field going with the wind is 50 yards, which would be another 13 yards the Seahawks need to pick up.
You know, we see the play there. Chris Harris trying to make a play on that ball. I'm not sure exactly what Matt Hasselbeck was trying to do. They had double coverage there on Deion Branch. In fact, when Hasselbeck let it go, it looked like he was just throwing it away.
That blue line indicates where the Seahawks would have to get it to give Brown a chance to equal his career high. But on this type day, he thinks his range is 50 yards. Hasselbeck, Tank Johnson with the sack. And the clock will continue to run. And we appear headed to overtime here in Chicago. And it's Tank Johnson, with all that he's been through here in the second half of the season, who got through and wrapped up Hasselbeck for the sack.
Yeah, Hasselbeck had some time. Give a little credit to the defensive secondary as well. Covering him up pretty good on the back end and giving time for Tank Johnson to get there and make the sack.
Chicago took the timeout, and if they're willing to take the timeout now, they wasted a lot of time in letting the clock wind down. They'd love to give Devin Hester a chance to do something here spectacular at the end of regulation. It is 4th down for Seattle. So some big defensive plays from each side here late in the 4th quarter.
Well, you can do one of two things. If you're Seattle, you can throw the Hail Mary, which would be my guess as far as what they're going to try to do now.
Yep. And so Chicago took the timeout. And in essence, they give Seattle a chance for the Hail Mary, and Hasselbeck throws it away, and we go to overtime. Do you remember the last time Matt Hasselbeck was at midfield for a coin toss in the playoffs?
Seattle has won the toss. We won the ball, we're going to score.
We want the ball. We are going to score. And Hasselbeck threw the pick to Al Harris up in Green Bay on a day much colder than it is today here in Chicago. The 0-3 NFC wildcard weekend, Seattle at Green Bay, and that return by Al Harris won it for the Packers.
Same coin, the emblem represents heads. That's heads.
Hasselbeck's not even out there now.
It's tails. You won the toss. Kick that
way. So Seattle
on this end.
Wins the toss, and they receive the opening kickoff of this overtime period. And the records all time for these two franchises in overtime. Extra action here in Chicago. OT when we come back. Overall, but the Seattle offense has been out there on the field quite a bit over the last 10-15 minutes or so. The defense for Chicago got to be a little winded as Burleson will try and turn in another good return for the Seahawks. Burleson trying to make it to the 30. And he got there. That's where Seattle will start with it. And Hasselbeck just left the field, and there's his day. 17 of 31 with one interception that he threw to Ricky Manning Jr.
Yeah, they've not really been able to get any real big plays down the field. But, you know, now when you come out to start the first possession of overtime, you're able to take a deep breath. I mean, now you're not working under the constraints of the clock, and you can go back to executing your offense and taking your time doing it like what they were doing throughout most of the game.
Alexander, another big run. He picks up 10 and has enough for a Seattle first down out across the 40.
And like they did to start the game, Seattle opens up with 3 wide receivers, tries spreading out this Chicago defense, but they take it right up the middle. Again, this is an area of this defense where Seattle did not feel that they would have much success running the football. But looking back on the plays where Alexander has had the most success, that's where they've come from.
Seattle won the toss. They get the ball. They're playing into the wind here in overtime, and the play is made by Alex Brown. Maurice Morris on the carry. Agunlia there as well for Chicago, a loss of 2.
Yeah, Alex Brown was lined up there on Walter Jones, the all-pro left tackle. And Alex Brown is able to get around him, and then he's right there in the hole. Just no chance for Maurice Morris to go anywhere.
2nd and 12. Hasselbeck drops it to Will Heller. Heller is out to the 48. He's 2 yards shy of a first down. Briggs and Urlacher on the tackle for Chicago. 3rd and 2.
A good job there by Matt Hasselbeck. They again spread them out. They want to get vertical routes down the field. In doing that, Chicago's got to turn and run with those guys, not wanting to force anything down the field. Hasselbeck then able to find Heller underneath for a pretty good game.
It's good for 10. 3rd down and 3 or less today. Seahawks have not converted. Hasselbeck in trouble. Looking for somewhere to go with it, and he throws it away. Chased by Ian Scott all the way. It's 4th down.
Well, Hasselbeck was able to buy some time. This is on the other side of the field with Darrell Jackson, but no one was able to work back to Hasselbeck to create a place for him to go with the football. Bobby Ingram turns around, but he doesn't get any separation, and all Hasselbeck can do is just throw it away.
Plaquemire to punt. The dangerous Devin Hester waiting for Chicago. Nearly blocked by Boone. And it's a short punt. Idonije got through and almost got a hand on the punt. Either way, Plaquemire didn't hit it well, and they're going to mark it at the 34-yard line.
Yeah, Idonije, he just comes right through the middle. You see him there. And it was surprising that he didn't get his hand on the ball. If he had come at that thing straight, you know, you're always guarded against roughing the punter. But if he comes straight at him, he's able to make the block easily.
But he did force Plaquemire to hit it off the side of his foot, and it was only an 18-yard punt from their own 34. Handoff is to Benson, who gets back to the line of scrimmage. That's it. Mike Holmgren, who has 12 career postseason wins.
Basically asking everybody what they're doing out there.
Really, when you think about it, Troy, Plaquemire, by doing what he did, saved a block. Had he hit it straight up the field, looked like Idonije was in perfect position to make a block. 2nd and 10. Play action from Grossman, and the pass incomplete. Heavy pressure. Wistrom was in the face of Grossman. And it's 3rd down and 10.
You know, Wistrom's been able to get back there a couple times now off of play action and roll him out. Here comes Wistrom on a little bit of a twist move inside and forces Grossman to get rid of it a little bit earlier than what he wanted to. You can tell, you know, when you get into sudden death overtime, every play becomes extremely important. Both quarterbacks a little bit guarded as far as how much risk they're willing to take.
It's 3rd down and 10. Grossman steps up and hits Rasheed Davis. Biggest throw in Rex Grossman's career, right there to Rasheed Davis for 30 yards on 3rd and 10.
Rasheed Davis, he's just running right up the seam. You're going to see him. And Rex Grossman knew immediately where he was going with the football. They were in a single high safety look. And knowing that's what you're getting defensively, Rex Grossman knew Rasheed Davis was going to be exploiting that hole and put it right on him.
The Bears are about 5 yards away from the spot where Robbie Gould believes he needs the ball to be to have a shot. This ball comes out. Now they're saying that Benson was down. They're ruling down by contact at the 35-yard line. The Seahawks come up with a ball, but the early indication was down by contact. That's the call on the field. But remember, this year that is reviewable.
It is 2nd down.
It's 2nd down, but this is now reviewable.
Yeah, let's see what happened there. You see Cedric Benson with the ball.
Yeah. Elbow is like the knee. He was down. And that's what forced the fumble. That was a good call, even though Seattle came away with it. Robbie Gould felt his range going in this direction was a 50-yard try, which is 3 yards from this spot. And Benson is there. It's 3rd down.
Well, I think this 3rd down play here is going to be a pretty interesting call for Ron Turner, the offensive coordinator. And, you know, do you run the ball and not take any chances and then trust that you can make the field goal from this position, or do you try to pick up the 1st down by throwing it?
It would be a 50-yard try from here. The career long for Gould is 49.
I'm not so sure they don't try to get Rex outside the pocket, maybe give him a run-pass option.
It's 3rd and 5. There's Rex outside the pocket, throwing it away. And for the next moment, the Bears' opportunity to host the Saints next weekend in the NFC Championship game rests on the right foot of Robbie Gould. It'll be a 50-yard try. They're going to mark it just inside the 40. So officially 49 yards. Maynard gets it down. Gould wins it. long snapper, Maynard. Put it in position, and Robbie Gould sends the Bears to the NFC Championship game. For Chicago, their first playoff win since the 1994 season. Snapping a 3-game postseason home losing streak. And the Bears win it 27-24 in overtime. We'll take a break, come back, wrap up our day here in Chicago, and send it to the AT&T postgame show on the other side of the break. They are celebrating in Chicago. Saints and Bears next weekend. Take a break and come.
First opportunity to be in the playoffs. I've never been here, so I didn't want to be one and out. I didn't want to say if I had done this or if I had prepared this much more or differently, then we might have been successful.
Here is Reggie Bush, and Bush gets hit after a gain of 3 yards. Now McAllister is back in at tailback, and he gets the call, and he gets to the 15-yard line. Mike Carney, the full